successful retirement. A game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call right now, 571-570-8485, 571-570-8485. With Veterans Day on Tuesday, our 60 Minutes colleague Leslie Stahl offers a new perspective on the lives of those who returned home from World War II. In 1984, President Reagan commemorated the 40th anniversary of the invasion of Normandy and paid tribute to the World War II soldiers known as the Greatest Generation.
These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war.
But historian David Nassau calls them the Wounded Generation. Why did you call them wounded?
They are the greatest generation, but they return from war and bringing wounds home with them that are invisible. They're psychic wounds. Now we know that a lot of those wounds were PTSD. But PTSD was not diagnosed for 40 years after the return of the World War II veterans.
One clue he came upon was the famous photo of Times Square on VJ Day 1945. Nassau saw something beyond end of the war jubilation.
Now, let's look very carefully. And she's pulling away.
She's pulling away.
She's pulling away. He's grabbed her. He's locked her in. This is a second photograph by another photographer. She's freed one arm, but he won't let go of her.
She's got it clenched.
Yeah, a clenched fist. Now, this is not joy. This is assault.
You said that she talked about this.
Years after the event.
And she said?
She said, I thought I was going to be suffocated. I didn't know who this was, where he had come from. He wouldn't let me go.
Nassau saw something in the photo that touched a nerve. It reminded him of his own father when he came home from the war after serving in Eritrea.
He came home an alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
He came home smoking 3 or 4 packs of Luckies a day.
No.
He came home with a heart condition from the war. He dies at age 61. And I had never had the chance to find out what happened in Eritrea, what he went through. So what do I do as a historian? I can't find out his story. So I jump in to find out the story of his generation.
He combed through newspapers, magazines, government records, and went back through movies. A Pulitzer finalist for his biographies of Andrew Carnegie and Joseph B. Kennedy, Nassau is a dogged researcher.
This hospital is one of the many for the care and treatment of the psychoneurotic soldier.
One thing he found was that government officials knew enough to warn wives what to expect when the soldiers returned home. You write about almost primers. They're telling these wives, you're not going to have the same man who left.
Yeah, this was one of the things I learned that just shocked me. The wives and the mothers and the girlfriends were told, we'll do as much as we can in the VA hospitals, but you've got to cure this guy. You've got to live with his temper and his drinking and his foul mouth and his inability to take care of his kids. And if he can't readjust, it's your fault.
In your book, you talk about lobotomies. They actually gave these soldiers to fight what we now know as PTSD. Lobotomies?
Yeah.
Really?
The worst cases, the men who came back totally out of it, unable to connect to their wives, to their parents, ended up in VA hospitals. The VA hospitals tried forms of talk therapy. If you don't get better, they give you shock treatment, electroshock treatment. The VA hospitals do their best, but they don't know how often they should be treated, how long. Shock treatments do no good. And the next is lobotomies.
Let's talk about the government stepping in to help, to ease this re-entry problem.
Congress understood in every war, we have rewarded our veterans from the Revolutionary War onward with land bounties, with old age pensions, but more than that, we were going to return to depression when the government stopped funding defense plans and when these 16 million guys came back looking for jobs. So a GI Bill is written to provide unemployment compensation for the vets when they get back. Why? To keep them off the job market for a year. Free tuition, whether you want to go to a vocational school or whether you want to go to college or graduate school, is provided for the veterans.
So they won't go looking for a job?
Because the sense is that it may take 4 or 5 years to reconvert from a war economy to a peace economy.
The government provided mortgage guarantees for veterans looking to buy homes. This encouraged real estate developers to build entire suburbs like Levittown on New York's Long Island and apartments like Stuyvesant Town in Manhattan.
So they worked out a deal with Metropolitan Life Insurance to give them all sorts of tax breaks and build this extraordinary complex.
By the end of 1955, the GI Bill and other Veterans War benefits totaled $24.5 billion, around $435 billion in today's dollars, and almost double the cost of the Marshall Plan, which rebuilt Western Europe. Yet not all veterans benefited.
If you were a black veteran, north, south, east, and west, the banks were hesitant to give you a mortgage. Without a mortgage from a bank, you couldn't get a mortgage guarantee. So what happens? This nation is transformed. There's a new middle class. It includes Jewish immigrants, Italian immigrants, Polish immigrants, working class people. Black veterans are shut out.
When the black veterans came home, there was a lot of violence against them in the South.
The South has learned that the only way to put down what they fear is going to be an attack on Jim Crow is to use violence. The black veterans come home and, one of the ironies here is that they can't afford to buy new clothes, so they wear their uniforms. Oh. And for white politicians and a lot of white Southerners, seeing a black man in a uniform is a direct provocation.
Think of the suffering of those hit by artillery.
We found Nassau on a guided tour of the World War II Museum in New Orleans.
There's a Purple Heart. My father got a Purple Heart. I never saw it. I asked him over and over again, where is your Purple Heart? And he just sort of shrugged his...
While David Nassau might never know why his father earned a Purple Heart or where it went, his research has uncovered new insights into the experiences of all war veterans. The Vietnam veterans, when they came home and had all their problems, they thought that they were weak because they didn't know that that was also true of World War II.
In Vietnam, it was not considered by the majority of the population a good war or a war that Americans won. Therefore, the Vietnam veterans suffered. What I've discovered is that it doesn't matter. There's no magic wand that makes the war go away from people who've been in combat, who risked their lives, whether you're in World War II, in Vietnam, in Korea, in Afghanistan, in Iraq.
It's the same.
It's very much the same.
Just hit the button. It doesn't take that long. Subscribe, hit the bells, follow.
I'm the master reptile.